Fox Business Alert, Verizon's blowout earnings and revenue beat, charging up the telecom sector. You can see Verizon's up 4.5%, AT&T up 1.7%, T-Mobile looking pretty good, up 2.33%, followed by Comcast and Charter. The company also dialing up its earnings forecast and cash flow guidance for the year. It is all really good news. As you see on the screen, I mean, look at that revenue, $34.5 billion, a decent beat here. But let's pivot beyond what's right in front of us in 2025, especially when it comes to Apple, one of Verizon's most important partners in terms of smartphone sales. According to Bloomberg, Apple is working on powering up its software to accommodate the first ever foldable iPhone set to launch at the end of next year. Let's bring in Verizon CEO Hans Vestberg to talk about earnings and foldables and all kinds of exciting things. Okay, great earnings. Let's get to that in a second. But because this foldable story is gleaning some speed and it's garnering momentum, how do you think an Apple foldable will do in a market that already has Galaxy 7 foldables, Galaxy Z7?
There are all the foldables in the market on the Android system. They are doing okay. I mean, some are doing a little bit better than others. Historically, I mean, I usually say you see the upgrade cycle taking off when you have a 3G to a 4G or 4G to the 5G. Then people are tending to change. And then when you have a hardware redesign. So usually that's when people are saying, wow, I want a new phone. In our consumer base, they have their phones in an average for 44 months right now. And you might remember during the 3G, 4G era, we changed every year. It came a new phone because that was the flavor. Exactly. Now people keep them for 44 months. That tells you a little bit that, first of all, the quality has gone up. They're working really good. And people are not equally inclined to change. However, in this quarter, we had a lot of upgrades on phones because both of we gave them incentives to do it, but also because of the 44 months. People are starting to change out their phones.
Well, yeah, the cycle continues. Yeah. But because we have a model out right now with the Samsung Galaxy, the Z, and the 7 Fold just came out. So can you tell me the adoption of it? Because it's huge. Foldables are now huge in China.
Absolutely. No, I think it's a little bit different. The US market is very iOS oriented, very high market share. So even though you see movement in the Android market share, and they are driven by the foldables. I mean, even Google's Pixel have a foldable as well. So we have more brands doing it, and they are doing pretty well in the market, but from a lower market share.
Have you been, because you are such a close partner with Apple, I've seen you on Tim Cook's videos when he actually has big product rollouts. So that's how close you guys are. Have you been part of conversations about the next hardware version?
If I would, I couldn't tell you. No, I think that Apple are doing what they are supposed to do. They, of course, are an extremely close partner to us, and we are very close to them and see what's going to come in the future.
We know everybody wants to be the iPhone killer, and Sam Altman and former chief designer of Apple, Johnny Ive, have been working on a super secret device. They won't even call it a phone because it apparently doesn't have a screen or numbers on it. It apparently fits in a pocket, according to the Wall Street Journal's ability to have viewed a call that had something to do with this. And it'll be supposedly contextually aware, whatever that means, screen-free, not glasses either. Have you been part of any discussion of that with Johnny Ive and Sam Altman?
I cannot comment on anything, but what I tell you is that we definitely believe that in 2 to 3 years, you will have much more devices that are network aware. They have information on the go. They might not look like a smartphone. And there are many companies doing that because the wireless networks are so good right now, both on the latency, how long it takes to pick up software and coming back to the phone or whatever device it is. So we're going to see much more of that edge computing, different type of devices that might not be a phone. They can be glasses, they can be other things. That we're definitely going to see in the next couple of years.
And so Verizon obviously would want to be at the forefront of making sure it somehow is woven into all of that.
Absolutely. And we of course going to, as we have the most advanced mobile network in the nation, we have also the opportunity to work with all these partners and see, and they can test the equipment on us. And then of course we have the largest distribution in the US where 93% of the US population have less than 30 minutes to a Verizon store. 93% of the US population. So of course, our spread on our distribution channel is the biggest and the go-to-market. So yes, we expect that to happen.
There are still dead spots around. I mean, you go to some areas like in Bel Air, California, or the Hamptons, where you're suddenly just losing all connectivity. At the same time, you have the satellite system that is out there, Starlink. At some point, are we going to no longer have to say, can you hear me now? Because everyone will have connectivity and no drop calls?
I think that the whole satellite notion is a great complement to the wireless network. We cover 99% of the US population today. I mean, there are state parks where not allowed to put up but I think the satellite to device is important for several things. For emergency SMS, emergency calling, definitely. And we're going to see that. We have our agreement with AST for all the Android phones, and then we have the solution with Apple. So we already have it on newer devices that you can actually do that.
So let's talk about spectrum, because Verizon has dominated many a spectrum auction. And this was interesting to me a couple of months ago, where Elon Musk was whispering in the FCC's ear and saying to Brendan Carr, you know what? Dish and EchoStar, they of course are the same company. They're not using their spectrum in the right way, and they should have some of that taken away, and we should get it. Where's the next moment in spectrum, and how hard will you fight to get more of it?
So first of all, we have a really good spectrum position right now. We bought the C-band for $52 billion that we're now deploying on. We have a lot of millimeter wave spectrum. We have lower band spectrum. So we feel really good about that. What I've said to the US government, and what we see also in this bill, that tax bill, or the bill that came out, is that the US government are planning to do spectrum auctions in the future. And that's very important because of the competitiveness of the United States of America. Ultimately, we want to be the most digitalized country in the world, and then you need more wireless spectrum over time, especially when 6G coming and all of that. So definitely, I was encouraged of the bill that was approved, that they have spectrum, both authority for FCC, but also that they're planning to get a funnel of spectrum in the future, not tomorrow, but in a couple of years.
Okay, a couple of years.
Yeah.
You just mentioned the tax bill, which is now the law.
Yes.
That's
correct.
what jumped out at us in your earnings report. You said that there is almost an immediate benefit to the fact, when it comes to your outlook, that in this bill you can right away write off capital expenditures.
Yeah.
How much does that mean to you as a business that spends a lot of money trying to constantly upgrade and build out your network?
It's of course very important. That was something that we really advocated for as well. I mean, since I became the CEO of Verizon, we have spent over $200 billion in infrastructure in the United States.
Right.
That's the last 7 years. 200 billion. This year we raised the capex again. So the immediate impact is roughly $1.5 billion to $2 billion in free cash flow this year. And then we have also a significant portion coming next year, because of that we can depreciate immediately our capital expenditures. So of course that gives us the possibility to invest more and moving forward. So I think it's a great decision, or a bill that was approved.
Well, it's nice when the government can do something that helps the business. And are you hiring?
Yeah, hiring, we have been fairly flat, but we are hiring in different areas. Some areas where AI is working well for us, we can reduce headcount. Other areas we are recruiting because we need more engineers in AI. We need more frontline because we're selling more. So it's a little bit balanced, but in all balance, we're fairly flat at the moment.
So I can read into that you're not reducing it.
No, we haven't been reducing lately.
Good to see you, Hans. This is a nice day for you guys.
No, it's a good day. The guidance, we increased the guidance. The financials was great. So I think their strategy is resonating and the products is great in the market. So we're very excited over that.
Yeah, and we always like to remind people the annual forward dividend yield is close to 7%.
Yeah. 18 years of increased dividend. And we will put the board in a position to continue to do that.
Yeah.
We have a yield on 6.5–7%. So yes.
Year to date, though, the stock lagging just matching the S&P, but year over year lagging. So,
but if you include the dividend, I think we're doing pretty good.
Include the dividend.
Thank you. You should do that because that's a shareholder return as well.
Indeed. Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
All right. Well, 3 in a row. You got to come back for 4 in a row.
Yeah, definitely.
Good to see you. Thank you so much.